After Mauricio Pochettino surprisingly got sacked from Chelsea, they've already got their replacement in. Enzo Maresca is the man to step into Pochettino's job with a £1 billion squad. Will he succeed at Chelsea? I'm not sure he's gonna. So Todd Boehly has gone through a few managers now. Tuchel, Potter, Lampard, Pochettino, and now he's got his fifth man in charge in Enzo Maresca. If you told me 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whenever it was that Pochettino got sacked, the day before that, if you told me that Pochettino was going to be out the door and Enzo Maresca was going to be the Chelsea manager, I'd have been shocked. I thought Pochettino was going into this season, maybe a couple more signings in the Chelsea squad. But in the last 6 games of the season, I think he won 5 of them. It was very good what he did. It felt like Chelsea were finally gelling. He got best out of players like Caicedo and Fernandes and Gallagher and Nicholas Jackson, and it felt like they were going places. But all of a sudden, a board meeting at the end of the season saw Pochettino get sacked by mutual termination. And I think Pochettino was the best man for the Chelsea job coming into this coming season. Now he's got the team to gel. Once again, the manager merry-go-round has started. Got to get the protein in, boys. So what do we know about Enzo Maresca? He was assistant manager to Pep at Manchester City for a few years before taking the Leicester job around about a year ago. Last season, or this season just gone, he got Leicester promoted as champions from the Championship, but a lot of their fans didn't even want to keep hold of him. In about March time, when Leicester was starting to wobble, their fans were saying the football isn't great, it doesn't feel convincing that they're going to win, they're not controlling games, it feels like Leeds or Southampton, if they pick up a good run, they'll get overtook and then they'll end up finishing the playoffs. But Leicester kept with their man Maresca, they didn't listen to the fans and they did end up winning promotion back to the Premier League. But a lot of people have been saying that the best manager in the Championship wasn't anywhere near Maresca. Russell Martin did a better job at Southampton, Kieran McKenna certainly did a better job at Ipswich, Carlos Corberán, a man who's linked with the new Leicester job, did a better job with West Brom. So that leads me on to the next question. Why have Chelsea gone for Enzo Maresca when other managers are available, like Xavi from Barcelona? Thomas Tuchel's just gone from Bayern Munich, and Pochettino was their man. So Maresca out of possession plays a 4-3-3. Here's a picture of what he uses with Leicester last season. It's a mid to high block that he presses with. It's not exactly the most gegenpressing sort of system. The players will be told a zonal part of the pitch to go for, and if the opposition have the ball in that part of the pitch, then they press. Now obviously they won the Championship, they played a high press, they have players to do that, they have a Premier League squad on paper, players like Vardy, Mavididi, Winks, and Didi, Wout Fass. There's so many players in that squad. Ricardo Pereira, who really should be in the Premier League, and it's weird that they've had a Championship season. Yeah, 4-3-3 out of possession with Winks at the tip of that midfield, and then Ndidi and Dewsbury Hall to the left and right of him. In possession, it's a whole different story. So 3-2-4-1. The left back drops into a left centre back position, so the two centre halves alongside the left back form a back three. And then under Leicester, it was Ricardo Pereira dropping into CDM alongside Harry Winks, so that forms your 3 and your 2. And then the 4-1 behind the striker is your 2 wingers, your 2 centre mids, and your striker. Now, I've drafted up a rough way of how I think Chelsea will be lining up in and out of possession. That should be on your screen now. Obviously, players will be changing. Thiago Silva's leaving, so that means that there's a gap at centre half. I think it could be Disasi and Badiashile, but they've obviously got Wesley Fofana coming back from injury. They've got Chalobah. They might be signing more. It wouldn't surprise me if they do. We could even see Colwill come in at centre-back or left-back, where I've put Kukurea. And I think Reece James is made for this system, to be honest, because he's good at getting up and down the wing. But more importantly, I remember on his loan spell at Wigan about 5 or 6 years ago now, Paul Cook sometimes played him at CDM because he's so good on the ball. His technical ability is impeccable. Imagine a midfield in possession of Reece James and Caicedo at the DM, and then they've got Fernandes allowed to free roam in attacking midfield position with potentially Gallagher next to him or Nkunku. They've got Nicholas Jackson, they've got Sterling, they've got Cole Palmer. It's exciting to see what they'll do next season now the team's gelled. You know, I'm listing off all of these players. We know what they can do. They're going to be signing more players. Todd Boehly is going to be splashing the cash. And when you look at the way that Maresca plays and lines up, you can see that it's medal. And when you look at the way that Maresca plays his football, the way that he sets his teams up to play, you can see that he's modelling it from the greatest, like Pep Guardiola, who he's worked with. And, you know, the 3-2-4-1 is a system which looks fantastic on paper. You know, a manager like Guardiola has done really well with it. Klopp has done well with it. Arteta's done well with it. They know how to make it work in possession and obviously go back to a 4 at the back when they lose the ball. But Maresca didn't make it work very convincing in the Championship. It was extremely clear as to what they were doing. You could see the shape of the team. They controlled the ball quite well, although they just didn't have a clinical edge in attack. And in the Premier League, you need to be making use of those individuals. Vardy in the Championship with Mavididi, Fatawu, Dewsbury Hall, and they weren't exactly chance monsters. They'd get chances in the games, obviously they would with those individuals, but they weren't just constantly hauling teams like you see a Pep Guardiola Man City team do. Now, there is always the chance that I'm underrating Maresca, and now he's got better individuals at Chelsea in a division which he's already used to after being at Manchester City. He comes in and just gets top four of Chelsea, blows teams away, new signings work, current players work, he gets Cole Palmer as the best ever Premier League player, but I just can't see it happening. The fact is that the squad churn at Chelsea has been that big. They've just got used to their new manager in Pochettino, and he's out the door. Maresca is not exactly a character who inspires. He's quite controlled. He gets the teams to do what they need to do, but he's not like Klopp in the way that he rallies a team up, in my opinion. I'm not saying that behind closed doors I know what he's like, because I don't, but he doesn't come across as the most inspirational person. And I think at the top level of football, man management is just as important as getting the tactics right, because you see Klopp, you see Arteta, they're the players' best friends as well as being their coach. And seeing a manager who wasn't even in the top 5 last season in the Championship walk into a job at a top 6 club in the Premier League astounds me. I'm excited to see how he'll do. I want him to do well because it'd be nice to see an underdog do well, but I don't think he's going to. Let me know down in the comments what you think he's going to do at Chelsea. Will he need some time? I think he will. Will he get that time? I don't know if he will. So, like the video, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next one, guys.